In this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about the switch machine I have chosen for the layout and why. So let's get inside. Howdy train fans, welcome back to the Chattanooga Southern Railroad. Sorry for the lighting's not the best here, but anyway, I'm over here at the Sugar Alley area because I want to talk to you about the decision I made for switch machines. So if you grew up in the 80s, if you had the Atlas turnouts, you had those solenoid switch machines on them, and that was pretty much the option. You could always go out and replace all of those, or for any of the turnouts that you had, and go with the famous tortoise, right? Stall motors, and these have been around for decades now. Work on a levered armature, and again, it's a stall motor, so it's constantly drawing some current to keep it in that stalled position, right or left, right? And we had these. These things were great technology back then. They are still very viable. The problem with these is that it's hard to get these into tight spaces. I have a lot of tight spaces on my layout, and so I was looking for an alternative to this lever action on this. So they arrived. So what I did is I went out to MRCS, which is micro, God, I forgot the name of it already. Here, I'll tell you in a second. This box has all the cool paperwork in it and whatnot. Let's see. So this came from Model Railroad Control Systems. And so I did some research about motors, in particular their MP line. So they have an MP1, they have an MP4, they have an MP5, they have an MP10. Similar setup as the tortoise switch machine. Some of them have single toggles. But unlike this big blocky thing, right, they make what they call an MP10. Right, which basically has the exact same footprint as you'll see there. Okay, I'll just turn it around this way so you can see. So it has exactly the same footprint for the most part, but as you can see, it is a lot different. Actually, I should be inverting it like that, so you can see it's like almost a quarter of the depth of the tortoise machine. I've got some places that I really needed this type of switch machine, and they're comparable in price. Okay, the beauty of this is that unlike this that has the soldering connections, and you can go out and buy the clips and all that stuff, but that's another $4 a pop or more depending on where you get them. These come with the comes with a connector that you can push in, and I'll just open this up so you can see it. So these go right on into, and they're oriented so you can't mess them up, and you can plug them in, and you can see right there's all your screw terminals. And the beauty of this is that if you need to service this or replace it, you just unplug that. You don't have to undo all your wiring for it, and then when you get the new one in place, you plug it back in. It also has, if I turn it the right way, you'll see that it has the same two inner toggle switches, so you can reroute your power or switch your power in your frogs if you want to do that, and or run, if you're running an ABS signal system like I plan to do, you can use this as the directional indicator for your signaling system. So you can see this is pretty compact, pretty sweet, cheaper than the tortoise in the sense that you don't have to pay extra for this connector thing. The other thing that is nice about this is that this is not a lever actuator, okay? It's actually a lateral mover back and forth, which makes it a lot easier to mount this thing remotely and have that actuator work for a turnout over here, right? Using a heavier gauge wire and maybe some tubing to help guide it depending on your orientation that you need to mount this. Actually, it would be mounted like this. And this also has the ability to height adjust here as well. This is also not a stall motor. It goes over, stops, doesn't draw any more power, which I also liked, right? And so this is what I'm going to be mounting starting here in the Sugar Alley yard, because if you've looked at some of my, or watched some of my previous videos, this thing sits up on a ledge here that doesn't allow me access to some of the turnouts and the motors. So I'm going to have to unbolt this section, turn it up on its side, mount all these switch machines, finish the wiring up in here, and then take it back down and rebolt it, and hopefully everything will work okay. So that's the plan going forward. So I bought I think 7 of these to give it a try, and I will show you the installation of one of these, so you get a feel, and you can make a decision whether or not you want to move away from the tortoises. Again, nothing bad about the tortoise as a mechanism or anything like that. I have always loved having these. I just wanted to try something newer, and so I settled on the MP10s for my layout, and I'm going to be using these throughout. The other thing that I will tell you is you can catch sales on their website, and sometimes these things are significantly cheaper when you buy them in like the 30 pack or a 26 pack, or I think these come in a 26 pack, so I recommend you go out there and poke around on that. If you've got a real small layout, you know, like a little switching layout, might be worthwhile. It might be a good investment, and then work everything off a control panel so you don't have to get your magic hand in the mix there. So anyway, there you go. Well, there you have it. So my switch machine of choice, the MP10. I'm going to be installing these on the layout. I'm going to start with these 6 and then go from there, and I'll take you along for that journey to kind of fill you in on how much trouble I had with them, any tips or tricks I learned while doing that, and if you got any questions about what you see in those upcoming videos, you know how to find me. So with that, we'll see you on down the tracks. Bye.